Welcome to Streams of Income, hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Streams of Income podcast. And so I wanted to share with you some ideas from an amazing email newsletter I got from Kit. Now, you might not be familiar with Kit. It is actually the older business known as ConvertKit. And so if you're watching this on YouTube, you can, sorry about the cough there. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can actually see my screen. I'm screen sharing this entire podcast. If you're listening to this, I'm going to give you enough information that you can take some amazing notes. But if you're listening to this, not watching it, I am going to put the link to this newsletter in the show notes, and that way you can pull it up for yourself. But I wanted to just go through this email newsletter from Kit, formerly known as ConvertKit, and to give you some amazing ideas for digital products. And so I hope you enjoy this. And most of all, though, I hope it makes you a ton of money. I hope one of these ideas is exactly what you were made for, what you've been looking for, and the thing that is going to break you loose for amazing income. So join with me as we go down through this newsletter and talk about some of these ideas. And so let's see, I'm going to scan, getting past the ads. Blah, blah, blah. All right, there's a section, why creators should offer digital products. And a big chunk of my income has always, since I started my business, since I stepped out as an entrepreneur, has always been in digital products. And I'm talking, I've been selling digital products since the old days, when PDFs were it, or KDP was a very different animal than it is right now. And so digital products, I've come up through there from the old days. And so wholeheartedly agree with what they're saying here. And so let's see. Number one, why you should offer these. It's an additional income stream. One of the things I love about digital products is, I preach the notion of streams of income, but not so you'll keep adding part-time jobs to your already full schedule. Not so you'll get a second full-time job. Not so you'll find 15 more things to do that take time away from your family. I like streams of income when you can take something you're already doing, maybe put a little bit of work into it, maybe change it just a little bit and make more income off of something you've already done in the first place. And so an additional income stream. Let's see. You can diversify your products. So broaden your product range. That's a good one. Diversification. Always love diversification. Not too long ago, by the time you listen to this, not too long ago, there was the TikTok ban, and it only lasted 12 hours. But so many people of a generation younger than me were freaking out because they talked about how their entire income stream, their entire livelihood was gone, and their lives were ruined because they had put all their eggs in the TikTok basket and had zero diversification that they could use to bridge that gap. I'm on TikTok. Matter of fact, I'm telling you I'm on there, so go and follow my TikTok account at Rugged Dad. But I'm on TikTok, but it is not my main business income. It is not even the only place where I publish short form videos because I know better. I need to diversify. And I'm not saying I'm perfect either. I've made the mistake of not being diversified and had that really bite me. So diversify. All right, number three. Oh, I love this one. This one speaks to what I was already talking about. Increase your income without increasing your workload. Most digital products require minimal maintenance after you create them. You know what that says to me? Minimal maintenance to me says almost passive. And I love that. The closer you can get more and more of your income towards the passive side of things, the more free time you have for your family, your calling, your friends, whatever it is God made you to do other than work. All right, number four. You can create digital products on a small budget. That's interesting. I was actually speaking to somebody on Facebook Messenger yesterday and this morning. A friend of mine that lives nearby, he is a pastor that is looking for some near passive or passive adjacent income. And so he was asking for ways to create passive income without an investment. And digital products are absolutely perfect for this. Very little investment. To be perfectly honest with you, most of the investment is with time, because pretty much all the tools. I mean, I signed up for some pro versions of programs, but pretty much all the tools I use to create digital products are free. And I pay for the pro version of Canva, but it's what is it, like 119 a year, and you get a lot of stuff with it. But you can get by with the free version, and so I love digital products for a small investment workload. And number five, automate the entire sales process. And so it makes it easier. And they're acting real technical here with these words. I read number five as if it said, free up more time to do what you want to do. And for me, man, I'm in my office right now, looking at the windows in front of me. My office is in a walkout basement, and right there is my farm, the backyard, some woods, and then the horse stables over at my neighbor's. I can see the top of her barns, and so that's what I want to create time for, to get outside more, play out there with the kids more. All right, now let's hit this. 24 unique digital product ideas adaptable for every niche. So if you're watching me on screen here, it's just a long list, or not long, there's 7 items, but let's just go on down and let's hit these individually. All right, so I'm not going to have a big explanation about every one, because I want you to come back and read this article and really just take time to brainstorm what you want to do. As always, though, if you want to hire me for a brainstorming session, I do 1-hour brainstorming sessions for like $99. That's much cheaper than my intense coaching sessions where we actually dig down and create the things. Because I love brainstorming, and so I do it. I mean, $99 for what I normally make is almost free. So I do it because I love brainstorming with people. Because, like I said before, I get so many ideas for myself when I brainstorm with other people. Not stealing their ideas, but it ignites. It just gets my juices going, and so I get more ideas for what I'm working on. Sorry, number one, ebooks. Of course, ebooks. I mentioned KDP earlier. That's not the only place where you can sell ebooks. Another thing I liked about this newsletter article here is there are some amazing images of other people's products that I actually saved some of these images in my own source files because I just love the aesthetics. And so I'm going to be redoing some of my ebooks to look more like these. And when you go through this article, there's actually examples of some folks' ebooks. And this is a Kit newsletter, so I'm betting every one of these examples is a customer of Kit, but don't worry about that. They've got some really amazing examples here that you can click on and get some ideas for your own things. All right, tutorials and guides. And so anything you are an expert in that somebody else maybe isn't, that's a weird way to say that. We're all experts in things that, there are things we know better than other people. We know how to do it better. We've grown up with it. We've got more experience. Whatever the case, you are the perfect person to do a tutorial or a guide on something very specific. So there's some more examples. Recipes and meal plans. And so you could start entire memberships off of recipes and meal plans. And typically with recipes and meal plans, I've found that the more niche you get, the more success you'll have. And so let's just run through that lesson real quick on how to niche something down. And let's use recipes and meal plans as the example, so to speak. All right, so recipes and food. That is such a huge market that there are a gazillion, probably 3 gazillion people already doing recipes and food. And so let's think, okay, you are you're fit. And so let's say healthy recipes and food. So there we just niched it one more level down, but let's go half a dozen more levels. And so fit recipes and food, high nutrition, clean eating, that kind of thing. There are several niche ideas. And so, don't you hate when people just leave their phone on when they're right in the middle of a podcast? So let's see, we've got my wife just walked into my office with, guess what? I'm recording this episode on my birthday, and she graciously went out to Starbucks to pick up my free birthday drink. And let me give you a little tip here, a little hack for the free birthday drink. Here, I appreciate that. She's also carrying Chick-fil-A, but that one's hers. It'd be rude for me to eat on camera. But let me give you a little quick hack. This is totally free for you, but since we're in the food category, sign up for the Starbucks app. And inside the Starbucks app, even if you don't like Starbucks, or don't like going there often because it's too expensive or whatever, sign up in the app and they'll send you a free birthday drink. You have to go get it on your birthday, and so you can't pick it up days later. But here's the thing. They will give you pretty much anything for that drink. I've got the largest drink here, and it's a matcha, but I customized this matcha latte so much, it's like a $12 drink, and it still qualifies for the birthday thing. So, yeah, you do that. There's a little hack there for your birthday at Starbucks. All right, so where were we? Healthy eating. So let's say healthy eating, though, that's still way too big of a niche. There's probably still a gazillion people doing that one. So let's think. Okay, let's narrow it down and say you're a woman that's writing this, and so healthy eating recipes for women. That's still too big of a niche. That's still way too large. And so let's go even further. Um, Keto. I don't eat keto. I've got friends that do. Or let me say, I eat keto adjacent. Like I like a lot of keto things, but I don't do the full keto. You know, they're like a cult sometimes, and I mean that in a good way. I mean, they're incredibly healthy, but it's too much for me. But I do love some keto food, and so now we could niche down into healthy eating recipes for women who are doing keto. And that's a long explanation. You can reword it however you need to into 3 or 4 words. But I got to be honest with you. A lot of people do keto, and there's a lot of people like me that don't do keto but don't mind eating keto, and that is still too big of a niche. And so now let's say, all right, I'm gonna go one more level because I think this might nail it. Because I've actually seen some really well done books in this exact niche. And so here we go. You ready for this? Because I'm going to give some of you an idea that you can make money off of. Healthy eating for women on the keto diet, but Southern. And I just say Southern because I live in South Carolina. And so Southern would appeal to me because it's like a lot of the food that we normally eat around here when we go to parties and stuff or church get togethers, that kind of thing. But you could make that for any geography. Like you could do Alaskan, Midwest, Pacific Northwest, Californian. And so insert whatever geography you're from. And here's the thing, especially I say this for Southern because there are some Southern women with truly beautiful accents. Now, there are also some with some accents that are not so beautiful. But I'm talking, man, like if you a younger version of Paula Deen, but healthy and keto. And so there's your niche. Healthy living recipes for women on a keto diet, but the author is Southern or whatever you are. And so that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Something like recipes, niche that thing down until you find the perfect niche. And I guarantee if you went on to Amazon right now and searched in all those keywords, you'd come up with probably half a dozen books. That doesn't mean the market's too crowded. What it does mean, though, is that there is a market for it. Because guess what? There are people all over the world that want to buy good Southern food. There are people all over the world that want to buy good, healthy Southern food. And so it's not just, you're not just going to find customers in the Southeast United States. You're going to find customers all over the world who love that because, man, when you start doing videos, short form videos to help sell your recipes, that accent, that cute little accent that with the drawl or whatever your accent is going to help sell your recipe books. And so there we go. You're welcome. All right, email courses. Man, you could do email courses just off of that niche we just talked about. But there's another option, email courses. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's real easy to take a book. What I like doing is going in stages. I like writing the book. Or first I'll write a lead magnet with a niche that I'm doing. I'll write a lead magnet. I'll give it away to get subscribers to my newsletter or the podcast. And I'll give that away. Then I'll turn the lead magnet, if it seems popular, if it takes off, I'll turn that into a book. And then the book is basically written in chapters. And guess what? It's easy to do with that book is to break those chapters apart, turn it into a course, film some videos, and make more money off the thing I already did. So there you go. All right, what's next? What's next? There's some good examples. Workshops. So basically doing the courses live. If you like doing that. A lot of people don't like doing live workshops these days because of just the added logistics. But I mean, you could easily hire somebody for that if you wanted to. But I mean, you could do workshops at church. You could rent cheap hotel ballrooms. I mean, if you don't mind speaking in public and you generate a good audience that'll pay for that, or even better, pay for that and travel to your location, workshops are amazing. All right, what's coming up after that? We've got more online courses. I think they kind of already mentioned that. Um, Maybe they're separating that a little bit, but just more courses. A paid newsletter. By the time you hear this, matter of fact, there may even be an ad at the end of this podcast. I'm currently, though, right now building a paid newsletter to go along with streams of income. And so listen to the end, and maybe you'll hear the ad for that if I've got it done and launched in time for this podcast. All right, so there's a great example of a paid newsletter. That dude has made a fortune. I say that if you're not looking at this, you don't know. Danny Gregory. But if you look at this, once you look in here, there's a link to his newsletter. But he has made a fortune with a paid newsletter. All right, a membership site. I am actually in a group called Membership Freedom, and I'm working on. It's an amazing group. I'll put a link in the show notes, but it is almost by invitation only. So don't think he's going to let anybody in, but it's an amazing group where I got pop-ups coming up. If you're watching this, you're seeing pop-ups. All right, it's an amazing group though, basically where you can just create a membership. And the great thing about memberships is recurring income. And so a little more work involved, so it's not as passive adjacent, but it's recurring income. And so that's the great thing about memberships. All right. So now we're in the template section. All right, PDF templates. And so basically PDF templates for the most part are forms. I mean, there's forms that can be filled out. And so depending on the industry you're in, you can create forms that people can buy and download. You can create bundles, all kinds of things you can do with that. Here's digital templates. Let's see, digital templates. Okay, I was reading this to see exactly what it is, but we're talking like things you can create on Canva. Like one of the examples here are Instagram story templates. And so you could buy a pack of these that's already designed for you. It's something that you can't just snag for free on Canva or even with a paid subscription. This is something somebody created that you buy, and then you can, most of these though, like the example I'm seeing here is actually created in Canva. So when you buy this, you can download it into your Canva account and then just modify it for your business. And so you can create those. You could actually create those within Canva if you're good with the, with design and things like that, and actually sell those yourself. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's see the design section now. Artwork, creating digital artwork. Now, I will be honest with you. Well, no, I was getting ready to say this is not something I would be good at, but now that I look at the example, I have actually created digital artwork once again inside of Canva that people, some of the groups that I'm in actually use these for NFTs, and they use these to sell cryptocurrency projects. And so I have created and sold digital art for NFTs. And so that's not something you have to do. The example here is actually somebody that creates prints that you can buy and have them ship you. I would assume that you can buy digital copies, or they'll send you actual printed posters and things like that. And so it's an amazing way to do it. And there are actually, how many times have I said the word actually? For those of you that are counting, I'll just go ahead and say too many. I've said the word actually too many times. But there are people out there, stores like I think it's Studio 6, where you can sell these things. I sell some art on Spreadshop. I have a Spreadshop store where I sell some art that gets put on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, all kinds of different products. Patterns. The example here is a sewing pattern example. So if you create these, especially if you're into fashion and create these for yourself, you can sell the patterns. My good buddy Dan Miller, who passed away a couple years ago, he used to talk about a lady that made custom doll clothes. And we're not talking little dolls that your girl might play with. We're talking like American Girl dolls, dolls that cost hundreds of dollars and possibly more. This lady would make custom-made doll clothes. And she finally got to the point where she was so busy that she could not scale her company or even get free time because she was so busy making the doll clothes. And so she called up my buddy Dan Miller, and he coached her a little bit. And you know what he had her do? was to create the patterns. And at first she was worried, like, is everybody going to start making these clothes and they're going to buy the patterns, make their own clothes? And I'm out of business. Turns out people started doing both. She created an amazing market because not everybody's going to want to make their own clothes, or not everybody's going to want to learn how to sew just so they can do this stuff. And so people are still going to buy the custom things, but they'll also buy those patterns, and that frees you up for a lot of time. If you want to completely get out of making the thing and kind of retire from that, just create the pattern, the the instructions or the course to make the thing, and you retire from actively working into that thing. All right, so let's see, printables. All right, printables. Some of these may seem like the same thing. Printables, though, that's something I do a lot of. I sell a lot of printables on Etsy and some other sites. And so the example here is somebody that's selling cards and posters. And so once again, amazing graphics you can create on Canva, bundle them, package them, sell them, make a little website or sell them on other websites. Fonts and icons, this is cool. This is something I'm wanting to do one day, is on a site like this, I want to create a font from my own handwriting. I've seen people do that, and it looks pretty cool. I would love to be able to just print something out, and it's actually my handwriting that it's printing out. And so I'm not sure if that's exactly what these folks are doing. These may actually be graphic designers that create their own custom fonts, not just from handwriting. But that's something you could sell. Let's see, recordings, audio recordings. And maybe I'm speaking ahead, and we're talking about video recordings as well further down. But audio recordings, I mean, this podcast, in a way, you're listening to this one of several ways. But there's an audio recording of this that's on several podcast sites. There's a video recording of this that's also on several podcast sites and on YouTube. And so I only did the work once right here, and I've got a VA that does, she's my producer. I just send her the raw files. And so as soon as I stop the record button with this podcast, it'll generate a written transcript. It'll generate an audio file for me and a video file, and I just send all those to her, and she does all the editing. She'll get rid of those awkward silences at the beginning when I'm waiting for the recording program here to say recording now. She'll get rid of all that, polish it up a little bit, and post it on all the sites. And so audio recording is one thing. Let's see, there are some examples of storytellers and musicians there, and a language teacher also. Actually, I'm going to go back to this article myself and see if I get some more ideas, because I'm interested in the storyteller aspect. I've got a good friend, Jim Hodges, that makes a full-time living off of, he's basically a storyteller. He takes a lot of public domain material, and he's got an amazing voice and an amazing recording studio, and he does really cool audiobooks of public domain material. And so his name is Jim Hodges. I'll put his link in the show notes so you can check him out, because if you like old stories and like Treasure Island, the Hardy Boys, the Henty novels, some of those things, it's pretty amazing. Original music. I've got a son upstairs right now, one of my homeschool kids. He's 13, and he is quite the amazing guitarist. He's constantly writing original songs, and he's got a YouTube channel where he's not at the point where he's selling original music yet, but he is recording it, writing it, and so this would be a good income stream for him. Let's see where else. Coaching recordings. I guess in a way this podcast is exactly that. But not only that, some of these are bundles of podcasts and recordings. So I'm doing this, and chances are you're listening to this for free or making a little bit of ad revenue from YouTube, that kind of thing. But I could take some of these, bundle them up in different themes. Like this could go into some kind of a business school or brainstorming bundle, and then I could sell that bundle of recordings. And so that's something you can do with this. And like I said before, it's something I've already done. It's not a new income stream. It's not going to take a lot of time. It's, to be honest with you, it's the kind of thing I can have my VA do for me. And yet it's an additional way to make extra money without more time. Photography and videography. We've got stock photos. That is not something I can do, but some of you love taking photos, and so you can sell your photos to places like Shutterstock or Pixabay and make money off your photos. And the great thing is you take the photos, you upload them, and then it's not residual, it's passive income. And so from that point forward, you can make money off your photos, whether you're sleeping, working, taking more photos, whatever, but it's passive income at that point. And so I love that. Stock photos, so they actually did stock photos as a separate thing as well, but there's stock photos. You can sell those. And we're getting close to the article though, because I think there are only 24 examples. All right, so now we're into service packages. So consulting or coaching packages. And so that's an option. I actually do that. I have a coaching package that I sell with some of the work I do with streams of income. And so that's obviously something you can do. And you take a lot of the things that you've already done and you just apply that knowledge to help people. And that's pretty cool. You can also do that as a membership setup, like we talked about earlier, for recurring income. And then guess what? You can bundle those coaching sessions, unless they're confidential, bundle those coaching sessions and then sell that as well. Pretty cool. Web design packages, if you're good at that, the design work or perhaps the coding, you can sell web design packages. That is not something I'm good at. I've created most of my own websites, but I will admit I'm a template drag and drop kind of guy with that stuff. If you're way better than me at that, you could do that. Website themes. I have seen website themes for sale on WordPress and also inside ClickFunnels. People are selling ClickFunnels themes. And so that's something you can do. And think about it. If you're good at that stuff and have a good eye for design, you could even take one that, say, for instance, you create for yourself, make a copy of it, strip away everything that's specific to you. And guess what? Right there, you've got a theme, a website or a ClickFunnels theme that then you can sell. Website plugins. These man, we're getting into some really technical stuff here, and this may not seem technical to the ones of you that do this stuff, but this is way beyond me. But I will admit, I pay these people money. These people create things that help make my life and my job easier, running my business. And so I love these folks. If you're good at that, that's something great you can do. Well, they actually reference this one guy. Over 13 million downloads of WordPress plugin. That's pretty cool. Apps and software is a great way to build apps right there. And yet again, something I'm not into, but something I do spend money on. All right, so we're at the end of the ideas. And so then they've got a section here. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and stop this podcast here because you may be getting tired of listening to me. If you're not tired of listening to me yet, just pull up another podcast and I'll be more than happy to talk to you on there. But the link to this newsletter article is in the show notes. And so this next section that I'm not going to, waste all your time reading is how to sell your niche digital products online. And so, anybody can create some of this stuff. I could train people to create some of these things, but if you can't sell it, if you don't have an avenue where people can get a hold of it and trade you money for it, then you're just creating stuff for fun, and you're like little kids drawing pictures, and then the pictures get thrown away and it never meant anything or changed anyone's life. I don't want you to be that little kid drawing purple horses with 6 legs that nobody appreciates. If you're going to draw purple horses with 6 legs, find a way to sell it, like we talked about earlier with digital art. And so you got to find ways to sell that stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast, more so than, like I like to say to people is, I hope you've found a way to make you some money. I love the idea that I might be giving people ideas that make them rich and help them achieve their dreams. And so I hope that's you. And let me know, though. I'm not saying you owe me money. You can buy me a coffee or something if you want. If it's not my birthday and I'm drinking my free matcha from Starbucks for my birthday, take me out, buy me a coffee, and tell me about all the money you made from the idea I gave you. That is just so amazing to me. And so thank you for tuning in. Please tune in next time for the next podcast, and I hope you enjoyed it. All right, so I've gotten a lot of questions from time to time about the things behind me in my office. And so I thought every now and then, instead of just doing one big walkthrough of my office, every now and then I'm going to grab something off the shelf or something like that and explain the story behind it. Tell you a little bit why it's there, where it came from, why it's so weird, like Chucky. There is a huge story behind that Chucky doll. I'll tell you sometime. Same thing with all those Green Lantern. I'm trying to see where my finger's pointing on the screen. all those Green Lantern rings. But today I wanted to tell you about the zombie squirrel. Now, it's a new edition in 2025. It was a Christmas gift from my sister. Now, my sister is an interesting person. She's a normal young lady. I say young. She's a few years younger than me, which makes her young, apparently. She would say she is, but she's very unique. She is very cheerfully morbid. I guess we'll put. You know how you see those goth chicks and dudes where they all black and black makeup, black hair. They look like, sometimes I've known some that would do white makeup and just so they look more pale. Well, she's into a lot of the same things goth people are, but she doesn't look like goth. Now, if you go into her house, though, very interesting. It's like a museum. Animal bones, human bones. She's got jars full of human teeth. She's got lots and lots, so much that it'll make you a little nervous. But she's got lots of serial killer memorabilia, lots of stuff from horror movies, things like that. And so, I say all that kind of paints her as a very weird person, and I wouldn't say weird, just very unique. And she's not dangerous because all that stuff too, it might seem that way, but she gives some really unique gifts. Matter of fact, she goes to trade shows sometimes. She has a little brand that she calls Pushing Up Daisies, and she'll go to these trade shows and she'll make these unique crafts of dead things and unique and interesting morbid things, and she'll sell those. Well, the squirrel I'm about to show you, you might not have seen him because on some of the videos he shows up on the shelf over there, but I wanted to show him to you. This was one of my Christmas gifts from her this year. It's a zombie squirrel. And I realize I'm telling you about this. If you're listening to the podcast and not watching it on YouTube, you can't see this. So be sure, even if you're listening to it, pull up the YouTube video and you can scan all the way to the end where this video will be to see the zombie squirrel. Look at this guy. So she took an ordinary, just like a plastic yard trinket, and she zombified it. And on the bottom here, she even autographed it. She's got her Pushing Up Daisy's logo at the bottom there. And if you want to get in touch with her, she probably won't mind because, if you want to get in touch with her and buy some cool morbid stuff, Honey Van Buren at yahoo.com. That's her email address. And Pushing Up Daisies is her business. And she made me a zombie squirrel. She painted him green, put some blood on him. But look at this. It's like at one time he's holding part of an acorn, it looks like, but she found a tiny little brain, and a little squirrel brain, and put it in his hands because he's a zombie squirrel. He's going to eat other squirrels. And you can tell that the red eyes and everything, he's already been fully turned. And so pretty cool. Like I said, people ask about all the things behind me. If you have a specific request that I haven't talked about yet, some neat stories. Let's put him. Well, you can't see him when I put him there. I have some neat stories about all the things behind me, like Chucky over there. I've got an axe behind me that's made from a bovine shoulder blade. There's a framed screwdriver you can see behind me in the picture. There's a really neat story that goes with the framed screwdriver. Somebody tried to kill me with that screwdriver. And so if you have any requests, let me know. I'll move those to the top of the list. But I've gotten so many questions about the stuff. I just figured I'd go ahead and start doing a little segment where I tell you, let's just call this the What in the World is Behind Dr. Dave segment of the podcast. All right, so thank you for joining, and stay tuned next time for What's Next. So guess what? I turned 50. It's already happened. And depending on when you watch this, I don't know how long ago it happened. I've noticed a few new extra gray hairs already. But, here's the thing. I want to make this year my half-century year. I want to make it amazing, absolutely amazing. And I want your help with that. I put out a call before my birthday in early January that I wanted folks to send me the most amazing books that they have read. I'm a bibliophile, a book nut. Matter of fact, that's the small bookshelf behind me. I guess some people might call me a book hoarder. I don't like the term because I read them. I take notes in them. I mark them up. I draw pictures and doodles and write books based on the books I read. And so here's what I need from you. I want you to send me for my 50th birthday year, my half century of life year. Send me the most amazing book that you've read lately, one that changed your life, maybe when you read it before. And so if you're going to do that, just get in touch with me. I don't want to just blast my address everywhere out there. But just get in touch. I'll give you my address, everything, so you can send me that amazing book. And I also want to hear your stories. I want to hear why this book is so amazing. I've already had a lot of folks sending me books, and matter of fact, I've almost finished several of them. I'll read several books at one time, just depending on my mood, time of day, things like that. And so, if you will, help me out with that. Get in touch. I'll tell you where to send it, but I want to hear from you about the books in your life that truly changed your life.